Hey there, hola, como estas, friends and amigos from all over the world. It's your man, the one and only, the original Globe Master, Yao Fosu. Now today, I got a funny letter from this young man, 19 years old. Now, usually, sometimes I get some letters, I will read them, and I will just say in my mind, this is a troll, so I don't pay no attention to it, and I won't even pay attention to them. But this one, in the beginning, to be honest, I thought it was a troll. But after reading it 2 times, it's so funny, I had to write it down and share it with my audience. So now, this letter from this young man, 19 years old, he says, Mr. Globe Master, I'm loving how you give good advice to youngsters like me. I like how you tell it like it is. Example, how you told a guy with a drug habit he's a junkie before you helped him. I want to know if masturbation is harmful to one's own spirit. I'm 19 years old and in college, but I do jerk off a lot when I'm alone. If this is something spiritual, please let me know so I can stop. I am jerking off at least 3 times a day. I would appreciate any advice you can give on this, please. So first of all, I was trying to control myself from laughing too hard while I was reading this letter. So, Miguel, young man, Miguel, 19 years old. Before I even move, so you are a jerk off, huh? You like choking your chicken at least 3 times a day. If you was in England, they will call you a Willy Wonka. A Willy Wonka, that's what they'll call you. You like to beat your meat, huh? That is awesome. Now, Miguel, first thing I want to tell you is that jacking off, choking your chicken, beating your stick is completely normal for somebody your age. 19 years old, I've been there. And oh yes, I've done it. Listen, jacking off actually makes you more of a normal human being than anything. Now, I don't care what anybody will say. There is absolutely, let me repeat myself, there is absolutely nothing wrong with you when it comes to jacking off. You're a teenager still, 19 years old. Come on. Look, if it'll make you happy, yours truly, I was jacking off until I was at least 30. And I had women. I went through marriage at an early age and I was still jacking off. There's pros and cons to everything you do in life, young man. It is not a crime that you are jacking off. Are you hurting your spirit by jacking off? I don't really think so. Before I give you any advice, let me make something very clear to you, young man. I don't have any degree on giving advices when it comes to certain things like sexuality. You You understand? But the little bit of spirituality that I know, I can talk on that. Okay? You are jacking off, it's not a crime. There are pros and cons to jacking off. Now, at 19 years old, your hormones is raging. You have raging hormones. Okay? So, let me start with the pros for you. At 19, if jerking off is keeping you away from the blade, from the track, if it's keeping you away from going to prostitutes and throwing your body into total garbage, then hey, keep jacking off. All right? If jacking off is keeping you from doing stupid things, or maybe it's you release your stress through jacking off, I don't see nothing wrong with that. It's actually positive for you, from what I can say. All right? What's the third thing I could say about pros if you're jacking off? At 19, you are still discovering your body. Okay? You're just in the early stages of becoming a man at 19. So, it's completely normal. Look, let me tell you something. I can actually tell you about 9 out of 10 men jack off. And it's a normal thing. And guess what? Women do it too. You see all them pretty young girls you fantasize about when you're jacking off? Guess what? They jack off too. Women do it, in some cases, probably more than men. If you've ever been to any sex shop, you will see that there's so many different varieties of toys for women to pleasure themselves, and very little for men. Okay, so don't think you're doing anything wrong. Okay? It's a normal thing. As a human being, you experiment with your body. As long as you don't take it too far, I don't see nothing seriously wrong with what you're doing. Even though jacking off 3 times a day, that might be a little bit to the extreme. Okay? Now, what can be the cons? The cons to jacking off. The first thing that comes to my mind is, like I said a few seconds ago, some people take it too far. Okay? Don't be one of those that you can take jacking off too far to a point that it can disturb your social interactions, especially with women. You know, you become a weirdo. Don't be one of them, right? The second thing I can say to be careful, that's a cons to jacking off is, in your case, you said you are jacking off at least 3 times a day. That's to me, that's a bit much. Because if you are jacking off, that means you're busting nuts too. And if you are coming 3 times a day, wasteful cum, Well, I mean, at your age, you know, you're strong and healthy. This is the strongest and healthiest you're ever going to be in your life. But if you're wasting your cum 3 times a day, that might be a little bit too much. Because remember, your cum is blood. So if you are shedding your blood 3 times a day, that's a bit much. Now, the third thing I can say to you is, I'm gonna take you into the spiritual realm, is that just like I was saying, if you are jacking off 3 times a day and you are spilling your blood 3 times a day, if you're not careful, you can invite an unwanted guest into your life. Something called a succubus. You know, a spirit that depends on blood. There are spirits floating all around the world. And you may attract one. A spirit can come and live with you, knowing that their thirst for blood will be quenched 3 times a day, because you are jacking off 3 times a day. You said at least 3 times a day, and you got to be careful with that. That's the only thing that I'm a little bit concerned about, that you are wasting your cum at least 3 times a day. Be a little careful with that. Okay, I would say minimize it. Minimize it to at least maybe once every 3-4 days, because if you are jacking off 3 times a day, there's nothing wrong with jacking off, but you could be harming yourself physically a little bit. At least what I can think of, you could be harming yourself. So just be careful. Continue jerking off. I can't believe I'm saying this. This is a terrible advice I'm giving you. Just jerk off responsibly, okay? That's all I got for you, my friend. Take care of yourself. God bless, and cheesy ears.